It's Thursday in Tryon, North Carolina, and it's been a gorgeous day. It's been cool, not cold, but cool, and a little overcast from time to time, but no rain. We're in Proverbs. Solomon wrote about 931 BC. Hezekiah organized and added in 715 BC. The purpose of Proverbs is found in chapter 1, verses 1 through 6. And that's for instruction in wisdom and righteousness. Chapter 1, verse 7 through chapter 9 is predominantly written to youth. We know that because he says, my son. And while we don't know how young the son is, we do know that many of these things are practical instruction and wisdom for young people. We're in chapter 3 today, because we've been looking at the fact that in chapters 1 and 2, we're to hear the instruction or see the instruction, we're to move it to our head for understanding and to understand its principles. Then we're to move it to our heart, so it becomes part of us. Our heart directs us in the actions that we take. We've looked at the enticement of others on our lives and how to resist those and where those enticements lead. And now we have a chance to have the Proverbs writer give us a reminder. Do not forget my instructions. Do not forget my instructions. Let your heart keep my commandments. Now remember, we moved it from ear to head to heart. And he says, don't let your teachings be forgotten, and let your heart keep those commandments. In chapter 3, verse 2, it says, peace will be added to you. You'll have an inner peace when you're obedient to God, when you keep his commandments. And we know that we need to maintain our kindness and our truth towards others, and to be sure that they become a part of us. As natural as breathing, as natural as being conditioned to react in a certain way. One of the things we've laughed about with our cat is when our cat wants temptations, she will rub your leg, she will jump up on the table, she will do anything she can to get your attention, and she knows that you know what she wants. She wants temptations. Well, we need to make God's commandments a part of our lives, where it's become a natural thing, part of our nature, to keep his commandments, to keep his righteousness and keep his ways. And now we come in chapter 3 to perhaps one of the areas that tells you very clearly that you will be able to find favor and a good reputation, not only with man, but with God. Just as in chapter 1, we found a very familiar passage that said, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Perhaps chapter 3, verses 5 and 6 are some of the most famous words in Proverbs. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all of your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Now let's break that down a little bit. It begins with trust, trusting the Lord that he knows what's best for you. Not a few minutes of pleasure or a few minutes of disobedience that you think is going to bring pleasure, but trusting in the Lord, knowing that he knows what's best for you. And it's with all of your heart. Remember, we've been dealing with the heart of the issue, not the head, not the ear, but we've been dealing with the heart. And we need to trust the Lord with all of our heart, not most of it, not some of it, but all of it. And we need to be sure we don't lean on our own understanding. I'd like to say it this way. We need to be sure we don't lean on our own rationalization for doing some of the things that we do. So we're going to trust in the Lord with all of our heart, and we're going to not lean on our own understanding. Now watch this. In all of your ways, not some of your ways, but all of your ways. We're going to acknowledge him. The bracelets that the kids wore for years that said, "What would Jesus do?" is a good way of phrasing that, because here we're going to take it and acknowledge him in all of our ways by acknowledging what he wants us to do. Just as the bracelet says, "What would Jesus do?" So we're going to trust with all of our hearts. We're going to not lean on our own understanding or rationalization, if you will. In all of our ways, not some of our ways, but in all of our ways, we're going to acknowledge him. And when we do that, he promises us that he will direct our path, or make our path straight in some translations. It's a great promise. You want a life that's filled with joy and peace, without the guilt and without the shame. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Don't lean on your own understanding or your own rationalizations. Acknowledge him in all of your ways, not most of them, but all of them, and he'll make your path straight. That's your thought for the day. God bless you. Have a great day.